Well, hello everyone, including the folks who will be joining us a little later. Some of our folks are working, our folks in Europe, Australia, who will be coming later. You're still here with us today. This is the, official commencement of our 2023 JUKAI, Undertaking the Precepts and ANGO, the 90 Days of Peaceful Abiding. And I wish you all peaceful abiding, beginning with our Zazen today. I think, anyone here for the first time? You all look like familiar faces. No, good. So you know what to do, right? And who is my Ino today? We're in very good hands with Koan, who is in New Zealand. Lovely, lovely, lovely. People are still joining us. Hello, Bernal. Good to see you. Well, let's just get going. Thank you for making the trip. He's from the next prefecture, but he got up at 5 o'clock this morning to be here. Actually, you probably got up about 4:30. Yes, to be here. Very good. That's the spirit. And good to see you, Kinhin, too, as well. All right, well, let's just get into it. I'll speak about the significance of JUKAI and ANGO later. We're going to have a little talk. Right now, what we do is Zazen. That's all that's necessary. And we are going to chant the Heart Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, which says it all. Says it all. All right, if you've been here before, you know what to do. And if it's your first time, just follow along. Let's go. One second, a little. All right. Stand in Gasho. Stand in Gasho. Gasho, Gasho.
Maka Hanya Haramita Shingyo Kanji Saipo Satsugyo Jin Hanya Haramita Jisho Kengo Ankai Kuto Isai Kuyaku Shari Shiki Fui Kuku Fui Shiki Shiki Sokuze Kuku Sokuze Shiki Ju Sogyo Shiki Yakubu Nyo Ze Shari Shi Ze Shohoku Sofu Shofu Metsu Fuku Fuju Fuzo Fu Genze Koku Chumu Shikimu Ju Sogyo Shikimu Genni Beze Shin Nimu Shiki Shoko Mi Soku Homu Gen Kai Nai Shimu I Shiki Kai Mumu Myo Yaku Mumu Myo Jinnai Shimu Wo Shi Yaku Mu Wo Shi Jinmu Kushu Metsu Domu Chiyakumu Toku Ibu Shokto Kobodai Satae Hanya Haramita Koshin Mukege Mukege Komu Kufu Onri Saitendo Muso Kugyo Ne Hanse Se Shobutsue Hanya Haramita Kotoku Anokutara Samyaku Sanbodai Kochi Hanya Haramita Zedai Jinshu Zedai Myo Shuze Mujo Suze Mutoto Shuno Joi Saiku Shinjitsu Fukoko Setsu Hanya Hara Mita Shusoku Setsu Shuwatsu Gyate Gyate Hara Gyate Haraso Gyate Boji Sawaka Hanya Shingyo. The identity of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed west and east, while human faculties are both wise or dull. In the way there are no northern or southern ancestors. The subtle source shines clear in the light, the branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things is primordial illusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every sense and field, intermingle even as they shine alone, interacting even as they merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sides differ primarily in shape and character, and sounds in harsh or soothing tones. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their true nature, as a child turns to its mother. Fire is hot, water is wet, wind moves and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the sweet and sour, each independent of the other, like leaves that come from the same root. And though leaves and root must go back to the source, both root and leaves have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own being, which is not different from its place and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box and its lid. The absolute meets the relative, like two arrow points that touch in mid-air. Hearing this, simply perceive what is, make no criterion. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, you draw no near, progress no farther. One who fails to see this truth is mountains and rivers away. Listen, those who would perceive this subtle matter, live well your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the heart of the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, honored one, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Dogen, honored one, Soji unhonored one, all successive honored ones up until Zuigaku Rempo, honored one, and Gudo Wafu, honored one, and to all other honored ones throughout history, same yet diverse honored ones whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures, now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war, violence, and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Zazen. Kinhin. Just here. Just here. Zazen? After you sit, to put your slippers in without hurting yourself. Oh, you okay? will have a long Kinhin. We'll walk with him now, but you can also take a break.
Yeah, maybe this is awesome. Maybe this is awesome.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I'll be back. We will now have a talk on Master Dogen's Genjo Koan, JUKAI, and ANGO. You can make yourself comfortable, drink tea, you can sit Zazen for it, you can stand on your head, you can do anything except hopefully sleep and no checking Facebook. But if you would, we're going to be seated now. And I will be asking my Ino in a moment for the verse to open the sutras. I put the. Why don't you just sit here? Yeah, good. You'll see my back, but it's the best part. All right. Well, lovely. Everyone can hear okay? Very good. Tokan, would you open the sutras for us?
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Well, lovely, lovely, and lovely to have all of you here. This is our third talk on Master Dogen's Genjo Koan, the reality that is manifesting right here, right now. But even though it's our third talk, if you're joining us for the first time, don't be too concerned, because the lovely thing about Genjo Koan is it's really many separate sections with their own lessons or perspectives. It all ties together, it all connects. But if you haven't been here for the earlier talks, you can check them out later. Today's lesson from Master Dogen is tremendous all on its own, and it directly fits with the auspicious occasion today, which is the commencement of our JUKAI season, undertaking the precepts, and also ANGO, our 90 days of peaceful abiding. You'll see, I hope, that it all fits together beautifully, as if Master Dogen wrote this just for this occasion. Now, the first part speaks about sailing and a voyage, which is really, if you ask me, what JUKAI and ANGO are. This is a 90-day voyage to the sea, in which we learn something about life and about how to maintain this boat, which is our world and our life, and how to meet the ever-changing conditions, which are the sea and the changing weather that is this world, that is our life, and the other sailors on this boat or on other boats surrounding us as we make this voyage, you see, that we call our life. Those other sailors, you might say, are the other people of this world, including your friends, your family, the other members of the Sangha community. And thus it's very fitting that the image at the beginning is about sailing. So let me read the words. This is from my translation from my Zen Master's dance book. When you first seek the Buddhist truth, you imagine you are far away from its locale. However, Buddhist truth is already correctly transmitted right here. Realizing so, you are immediately your original self. So you think that enlightenment and the destination you're sailing to is somewhere over the horizon, you see. But I assure you, the sailing is right here where you are, sailing in your little vessel, your little life. It's not the destination, it's the trip. And when you realize that the Buddhist truth has been right here all along, you discover your original self that you have been all along. It's like you're in the middle of the ocean looking for the ocean. Where's the ocean? Where's the ocean? It's right here. Where's the voyage? It's right here, you see, like that. Now, just because your original self in the Buddhist truth is right here doesn't mean that you can't mess up this voyage, you see. Most of us do a good deal of bad sailing, and we truly make a mess of things. And that's what Master Dogen's lesson is here. So let's first off see a little bit what he means by the voyage. When you sail in a boat and look out at the shore, you might feel that the shore is moving. But when you turn your eyes toward the boat, we look inward, you may then feel that the boat is moving. In the same way, if you observe the myriad things of the world with confused ideas of body and mind, you might assume that your mind and nature are enduring and standing separate from things. But when you intimately practice and turn within, it will become clear that nothing at all has a fixed individual self. So we kind of feel like we're just born into this world and the world is passing us by, like the shore, you know. And then we feel like our life is just separately moving through the world. Time is passing. We're young, we're older, someday we're old, then we're gone, like that. It's all separate. We feel separate from this world. The world is just these conditions, these things we've been thrown into, and we have no say in it really, except to react and try to stay alive as best we can. Try not to fall off our boat, I guess. But that's the wrong way of looking at it for Master Dogen and what this voyage truly is. You see, it's all one great thing. That becomes clear in another section from a different part of Shobo Genzo, but it's where Master Dogen really expanded on this idea about this voyage that is you in the whole world. It's from a section of Shobo Genzo called Zenki, which kind of translates as the whole works, everything that's going on, man, something like that. And Dogen writes there, life can be compared to a time when a person is sailing a boat. On this boat, you are working the sail. You manage the rudder. You are handling the pole. At the same time, the boat is carrying you, and there is no you to sail without the boat. By your sailing of the boat, this boat is made to be a boat. Otherwise, it would just be, I guess, a piece of wood without purpose, with a you to sail it, you see. Please study and understand profoundly just this instant of the present. Understand this fully. At this very instant, everything is nothing other than the world of the boat. The sky, the water, and the shore have all become this time of the boat, which is very different from what this time would be if there were no boat and there were no you. Thus, life is what you make it, and you are what life is making you. While you are sailing in the boat, your body and mind, self and environment are all essential pivot points of the boat, and the entire earth and all of space are all essential pivot points of the boat. That is to say, life is the self is life. So what does Master Dogen mean by that? Well, imagine you are a sailor on a boat, and I'm not much of a sailor, but I have to say I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is a big sailing town, and I had a lot of friends who were sailors with serious boats, all kinds of boats, catamarans, real sailing yachts, three-masted boats. I had friends with three-masted, what do you call them? Slips? No, sloops. Yeah, I was not much of a sailor myself, but I knew them, and they would take me out, and I knew enough not to fall off the side of the boat. And what I discovered in those experiences was that it's very different from a power boat, sailing. You really have to be connected and knowing the wind and the sea and reading it and reacting. And you make the voyage, you're reacting to the sea, but the sea and the voyage and the boat all become kind of one, you see. It's much different than just putting the motor on in a power boat and putting it into gear and off you go. And if you hit bad weather, you hit a storm, you have to react too. Sometimes that includes battening down the hatches, literally getting the sails down so they don't tear, getting your ropes stowed away neatly, and then just riding it out, you know. Life is kind of like that too. Sometimes we just have to get our sails down and our ropes in order as best we can and just ride it out. And other days it's smooth sailing, clear, beautiful, glassy sea. Every day is different. So sailing a sailboat like that is very much like life. And one of the things you might think is, when you're in the boat, you got all these separate things, you know. There's you. You are not the boat. The boat consists of all kinds of separate things. You got the masts, the sails, the ropes, the different ropes. You got the galley. You got the head. That's sailor talk for the bathroom, you know, the head. I speak sailor, you see. Yeah. Then you look out, you got the ocean, which is made of separate waves, right? There are fish in the ocean. Sometimes dolphins come up and swim with you. And sometimes you see fish jumping, but sometimes there are sharks. You see them out there and off of Fort Lauderdale's coast. And then you got the shore that's passing you, and you seem to be passing. Is the shore moving or you moving? It's all kind of relative. Then you have the horizon, and you don't know what that is. And if you're the sailor, you know, like all of life, how did we get here? Where did this world come from? There are many mysteries. You know, who made the ocean? Maybe I don't even know who made the boat. I'm pretty sure somebody made the boat, but I don't know maybe the builder's name. But where did the ocean come from? Did it just appear naturally? Perhaps. Perhaps there's no reason for it. And what's over the horizon? And what is going to be happening tomorrow, let alone 5 minutes from now, with this ever-changing? If you're off of the coast in Fort Lauderdale, it could be beautiful weather, and suddenly a squall comes in and you don't believe it. Everything changes in a moment. That's like life. So that's kind of how we feel we're living our life, just as a separate person, kind of getting by with all these separate objects we own. You know, we have our kitchen, we have our bathroom and our car and our ropes, and then the world is passing us by. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what tomorrow brings or what's over the horizon. We don't know every grain of sand on every beach. Many things we don't know. But then the sailor dips their finger in the ocean. This is called Zazen. And tastes on their tongue the brininess of it all. And suddenly knows all there is about this. Because truly, boat and wind and sail and sailor and the other sailors and every wave on the sea and every fish, including the sharks, and the shore and whatever was yesterday and where the ocean flows to over the horizon, it's all one thing, you see. It's all one thing. And this thing in this spot is your life. Your life is this one thing that's moving, moving, moving. Even though sometimes it looks like it's standing still, it's always in motion. It's the voyage. Your life is the shore and the waves and the sharks and the wind and the sun, the sky above. All of it. It's only one thing, you see. And you may feel like, oh, well, there's the world and then there's just me. I'm not very important in it all. Buddhists, we don't look at it that way, especially Buddhists like Master Dogen. Truly, you create the world as the world creates you. It's a reciprocal, shall we say, mutual dance, one thing again, because it's the voyage. So for example, get this. If you had the ocean, I got a biologist here, so you'll confirm this, right? If you got the ocean without the fish, a little bit lifeless. It's just, I believe, hydrogen, oxygen, some other minerals in there. If it was frozen, lifeless. If you didn't have the sky and the sun, again, there could be no life. If you did not have dry land and the shore, I guess also the ocean would be kind of shapeless. You need something under the ocean to hold the ocean, I suppose. And if you did not have a sailor, you could not have a boat. You would just have a piece of wood that was floating. But it's not a boat until you have a sailor to make it a boat. And here's the thing. The sailor is letting the ocean sail. Again, it would be lifeless without the fish. It would be lifeless without the coral. Hopefully we won't lose those. But it would be lifeless without you and me and the other sailors too. You see, this would be an awfully barren world. This would be more like Venus or Mars, perhaps. Deserts. Without us. You're not just the sea and the sea, convenient that you can sail it. You are literally bringing the sea, in a sense, to life, as are all the other parts of it, including the sun and the sky, and the fish, the waves. I promised you I was going to mention trees today. That's kind of your thing, but I realized I have to. Okay? This may sound very strange to you again, but I'm going to use this analogy. There are no beautiful green trees in this world without you. Did you realize that? You study trees, right? And they're beautiful, right? Many of them. Many, right? And most of them are green, right? There are no beautiful green trees without you. Now, I'm not so much an idealist to say that there's not something out there. Some, idealism, some people think it's all a dream. There's nothing out there. And I'm going to say that, Mr. Biologist, there are certain molecules, atoms, chemical processes going on, right? Photosynthesis, something's going on there, right? But without the human eye, there is no green. Green, I mean, there's light emanating, but unless it reaches our eye, there is no color. There's no beauty without your heart to judge. You understand photons need a receptor to get translated into chemical electrical signals up to here, which creates an image which you see as a tree. You realize that. You realize you have never actually touched a tree. You're just experiencing an image of you're touching a tree. You understand that, Mr. Scientist, right? Okay. Your heart creates beauty. And if the sap comes off and you taste it, it's sweet. There is no sweetness without your tongue touching that sap, you see. You create the beauty, the green, the color, and the sweetness of this world, and also the bitterness, you see. Well, something about our view of sailing here is the same. The sea, the voyage, needs you to create it as much as you need the sea to sail. The sea without you would be hydrogen and oxygen atoms, perhaps. Don't know what it would be, but it would not be the beautiful blue sea and the sky above. There is some interdance here that creates life. Now, with that said, it's what you make of it. You can muck up this trip. I've been on boats with bad sailors, bad captains. Ropes are scattered around. Boat is not well painted, leaking, right? Kitchen's a mess. They call it the galley. That's the ship talk, by the way. I learned that. The galley. Galley's a mess. The head's a mess, right? Crew's unhappy. How many people do we know live their life like that? And the storm comes, and if you're in a leaky boat, not so good. Usually ill-prepared, scary. But the good captains keep a certain calmness, right? And they have their boat neat. And the storm comes. You know those boats, those sailboats they make now? They're if you do it right, they can almost turn upside down and still survive. They're amazing. They're really water contained if you maintain them right. And you can survive pretty well. Maybe one day you'll hit a rock, not your fault, and the boat goes down, and then your voyage is over. But the voyage continues maybe for other sailors. But you're part of the sailing as long as you can maintain your vessel right. Right? What does this have to do with JUKAI and ANGO? Well, JUKAI and ANGO is a class in good sailing. The precepts are lessons in how to keep your ropes untangled and your sails well tended. Let's keep our ship nonviolent. Let's not steal. Let's trust each other and be honest and soft-spoken on the boat. Right? That's what the precepts are. If we live gently, whatever the wind throws at us, whatever, one day rainy, one day stormy, one day sunny, we sail through gently in heart. And this is the voyage where we bring it all to life, you see. You are the boat. You are the sails. You are also the other people on the boat or on the other vessels nearby, you see. We're all in this together. It's called Sangha. It's called the community with which you practice. Unless we learn to practice together here, we're all, I guess I'm the captain. I should get one of those captain hats. I used to have that, in Florida, one of those captain. I should get one of those. Captain Genjo, right? I got my first mate here, right? My Eno's my first mate today, right? And we're all the crew on this boat. Let's learn to live it well. And in the wider Sangha, you have your family, your friends, this whole world. Maintain, this world is called the planet Earth, is our boat. Let's maintain that too. Keep those corals in the ocean, right? Keep our boat well maintained. So this is the lesson of JUKAI and ANGO, the community, the sail, the 90-day sail we're going through now, of how to be good sailors and realize that this world is more dependent on your heart and your interpretation and how you approach it than you know. If you feel separate from the shore and the sea, if you feel separate from the sky, you are separate. You are separate. If you feel so small and unimportant in this vast, vast ocean, you are. If you feel like you're just shark bait, you are. But if you can see somehow the deep interconnection of it all and keep a gentle heart and realize that shore and sea and even the sharks are all one thing, sky, all the shrimp, all the S words, then it's a very different voyage for you. And you realize too, it's kind of timeless. Now get this. If you are the sea and the waves and the sky, and they are just you in other guise, get this. Before you were born, there was the sea and the sky. After you die and your voyage experience ends, there is still sea and sky and the other sailors who are you too and in other guise. So in that sense, you really go nowhere. As long as the sea is flowing, so are you. But we'll leave that for next time. Next time's talk, next month, we'll focus more on life and death, and we'll talk more about that then. But for now, forget about tomorrow, forget about yesterday. Your sailing happens right now. And this is our next lesson from Master Dogen, which connects to JUKAI, and especially our sewing practice. Master Dogen says this. Now again, the Genjo Koan, I feel, was written by Master Dogen to a lay student of his who may have suffered a death. I get the feeling for some reason, maybe a child's death. And so there's a lot here about what life and death is. And this next section is very much about that. And the message is kind of, there is death when there is the time of death, and there is life when there is the time of life. And in the time of life, live, and in the time of death, we go with death. We are just that time of death. So this is about that, but it's also about living life now. And so is your sewing practice, which I will get to in a second. So he says, firewood turns to ash, and it does not turn to firewood again. Right? You have firewood, you burn it, it turns to ash. And according to entropy, it doesn't easily return to firewood. But do not think that the ash is the future and the firewood is the past. Remember, ash is wholly ash with nothing remaining, I would add, in the moment of ash, the time of ash. And the firewood is just firewood with nothing more in the time of firewood. Of course, firewood turns to ash, but in the time of ash, ash is the ash. It's the time of ash, and in the time of firewood, it is just firewood with nothing more. You should understand that firewood abides in the phenomenal expression and wholeness of firewood, which fully includes its own past and future, yet is independent of all past and future. Ash abides in the phenomenal expression and wholeness of ash, which fully includes its own past and future too. Then I'll add the next sentence too. Just as firewood does not turn to firewood again after it is ash, do not think of returning to birth after death. Again, we'll talk about that next month, about what this has to do with birth and death. And just a footnote, this is not a rejection by Master Dogen of rebirth, which I think he believed in very much. Some people take this expression to mean, you see, Master Dogen did not believe in rebirth because he says, we do not return to birth after death. I'm pretty sure that's not his point here. His point is more, in the time of birth, don't think of death. And in the time of death, don't think, death is just birth become death. In the time of birth, in the time of life, there is life. In the time of death, there is death. Another section of Shobo Genzo, Master Dogen basically says, when there is life, live it, and when there is death, jump in or die trying, something like that. You embrace it when it comes. Now, some folks think that this means, live in the moment, forget the past and the future. That's not quite what Master Dogen is saying here. Notice he says, if you're in this moment, it has its own past and future. So we don't completely pretend there is no past and future and just live in the present. That would be like a mental disease. I just saw a Star Trek episode just the other day where they could not remember 5 minutes ago or who even they were, and they had to just kind of decide what to do with no sense of past or future, something like that. It's the new season of, any Star Trek fans here? Just me? I think we got a few. It's the new series that just started. It's very good. It's very good. So anyway, I don't want to give any spoilers, but they couldn't remember who they were or anything about their past, and they just had to live in the moment. It was terrible. So we're not saying that you need to forget the past and future. But this moment is just this moment with its own past and future. And here's the best example I found of that. Let's say you're a ballet dancer. You know, another plug for my book, Zen Masters Dance. It all connects. And you're on the stage. This is our life. Leaping, leaping, spinning, spinning, twirling, twirling. Yes? Well, it's this twirl right now. When you're doing this twirl right now, right? It's not the twirl that's coming or the leap that's coming 5 minutes from now. You're at this pivot point in your life, and it's the whole universe. If you're a sailor, it's the whole voyage coming here to this pivot point of where you are in the sailing. This turn of the wheel, this action, this leap as a dancer right now is where it's happening, man. Literally, the whole dance is pouring in. All the other dancers, the stage, the theater, the sky, the sun, it's all pouring into and coming to realization in this leap right here that you're doing. Okay? But it has its own past and future. You see, the entire dance is pouring into your twirl right now. So the entire past of the dance is coming into this twirl. Everything in the past history, from the Big Bang through the creation of the sea, whatever it is now coming down to this, the end of your toe on the stage. And what you do here. And how graceful you are, or whether you trip and fall. Well, it all comes down right to here. And the rest of the dance, there's no dance I know, maybe some avant-garde artist created a dance that has one step. Ready? The ballet. Thank you. I've never seen a ballet like that. The ballets always have many acts in the past and then the future. This is called the universe, like our life. The whole future of the dance comes from this pivot point. What you leap now somehow includes everything that's going to come, even though it's undetermined yet, right? We don't know the next 5 minutes. We could break our leg, we could fall off the stage, or we could be incredibly graceful. It could all go to plan. Actually, it's kind of a free dance, our life. We don't know. The choreography is not obvious to us. So we don't know actually what the next 5 minutes of the dance will be. We just know we have to keep moving as long as we're on the stage. Right? But whatever that future is, it comes down to this pivot point on the end of your toe. Your leap, your twirl. Your twirl is the whole show coming together. All the other dancers on the stage, you are dancing them. They are dancing you. You know, if you have Swan Lake or, right, it's a whole company of dancers. You can't, if anyone's missing from the stage, something's missing. You know, you have this whole performance. Well, this whole world is so. Let's go back to our boat. If you have no water, you got a boat sitting on the dry land. No. Where do the fish swim? If you have no sky, you can't have this voyage. You can't have our life. If you have no shore, if you have no boat, if you have no sailor, you don't have the whole performance. This is our life. What does this have to do with Rakusu sewing? Rakusu sewing is not just sewing a rakusu. Rakusu sewing is kind of, we say that the kesa is it's liberation, it's boundless. It's beyond all form or formless. Let's just say for a moment, the practice of sewing is a good lesson in sailing or your life in microcosm. Of course, you want to get it done. But you don't want to get your life done. It's like, your life is not, oh, my life will be, let's get to the end, because that's when the life is done, right? Or is it the entire process of from the beginning, the middle, and every stitch by stitch by stitch is your life and this world. You know, you think, oh, a race is done. When I start the race, I get to the finish line. Yay, the race is, I've reached the finish line. Sowing and your life is not a race to the finish line. Sowing, like a dance, like sailing, is this step and this step and this step and this step, which is the only step in this moment, which is all of past and future pouring into this moment. This is sowing. This is your life. This is sailing. This is dancing. The dance does not come only at the bow at the end. The curtain goes down. Thank you. Everybody go home. That's not the dance. The dance is everything from, I guess, everyone coming to the theater beforehand and sitting in their seats, and the dancers putting their costumes on, and then the dancing, and the end, and whatever comes next, and what's ever playing in the theater next week. It all pours into this step right now, which is your life, which is what you're doing. Your step right now is sitting here listening to me, who's trying to tell you that when you sow the Raksu, don't think about it as, I got to get to the end. Of course, if you keep stitch by stitch by stitch by stitch, there's a past when you bought the cloth. There's a future when the Raksu will be ready to wear. Never perfect, by the way, like your life. Never perfect. The Raksu is never perfect. And if it's too perfect, we go on the ground. Bjorn will tell you about this, and Kote. Get some dirt and we smudge it on the Raksu to make sure it's always smudged and imperfect. And it's this stitch now and this stitch now, which we don't forget the past and the future, you know, because this stitch does lead to what's coming, and it does come from what was before. So it's not just, oh, just forget, like those characters on Star Trek, just forget everything else and just know this stitch. It does have a past and future, but it is the only thing with its own past and future, where everything is pouring into this stitch and this stitch and this stitch and this stitch now. Yeah, I got to go to the doctor after Zazen today. I was being so mindful in the garden yesterday. I took a rusty saw and I cut my finger. So I got to go get a tetanus shot or something today. Ow, you can't see my Band-Aid. Because we make mistakes in this life. I'm teaching you about mindfulness, and I went in the garden yesterday. I didn't put gloves on. I said, I'm lazy. I'm not going to go back to the garage and get the gloves. I'll do this without the gloves. And my hand slipped on the saw, and whoop, there I am, bleeding all over the place. Because we make mistakes. And in your sewing, you will make mistakes too. And you know what? When you're a sailor, you make mistakes, and it's unpredictable. And you know what? If it wasn't like that, it would be, what a dull voyage. So predictable. That's why this is not one of those pre-packaged, cruise ship cruises where they got everything on the schedule. It's 4 o'clock, you have breakfast, and 7 o'clock, we have bingo. Not like that. This is living sailing. This is living sewing. This is living life, living dancing, in which you're going to screw up. And you know what? You bow, you accept it, you undo it, you fix it as best you can, and you go on again from there. Hopefully you haven't done terrible damage. You reflect, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Try not to do that again. You fix it, you move on from there. The mistakes of your life, the mistakes of your sewing, the mistakes of your gardening or dancing are part of the life. This is where I always put a tribute to my sister. We're going to finish in a second. But in my book, I have 3 clubs, Zen Masters Dance. I tell the story of my sister, who's an actual dancer, a Broadway dancer. She worked for there was a choreographer, Bob Fosse, and she was a dancer with the Bob Fosse Company for years and years. I'm all left feet, as you'll see in a few minutes when I get up to dance. She was a real dancer. Well, I tell the story of the book. One time she was on the stage, and the guy I think was supposed to pick her up or something. He drops her, she twists her ankle, and literally they had to carry her off the stage in the middle of the show. You know, it's like a football game. Timeout. They brought in the crew. They got her on a stretcher and they took her off. She said, you know what? That's the dance too. That wasn't the dance stopping. That was the dance too. Okay? So I'll leave you there. We're going to go and continue with ANGO, JUKAI, our sewing lessons. And I made a flub just now. I left the mouse for the computer here in the other room, meaning to bring it. So I can't see anybody. But if anybody has a question or comment or complaint, please raise your hand. And Bjorn, if you see somebody, would you let me know? Can you do that?
Yes.
Any complaints? No. Want your money back? No. Nobody? My priests, I gotta kind of lead on them. Somebody's got to do something. I just like.
We've got Bernal.
Oh, Bernal, good. Bernal?
Hey, thank you for the talk, Jundo.
Could you grab my phone?
I want to say that I did read your book, but don't remember that story from your sister. And it was, quite moving. It was really beautiful that she said that making the mistake and the accident is part of the dance. So thank you.
Of course, we try not to make the mistakes. You see, there are the self-made mistakes that we call things like excess desire, alcoholism, drug abuse, violence, being filled with hate and anger, being so greedy you want to steal things, being jealous. These are self-forced errors. In Zen temple, there are errors made all the time. Monks made mistakes, but you try to be careful, gentle, kind, attentive, you see, like a good sailor. So we try to avoid as many mistakes as we can, but they're going to happen. They're going to happen. And when they happen, even to the best dancer, even to the best sewer, Bjorn makes mistakes. Bjorn, you still make sewing mistakes? Just not. Yes? Yeah, it happens. Everybody sometimes does. And when it happens, it's just part of the sewing. It's just part of the dance. It's just part of the sailing in life, like that. Anything else? Going once?
I had a question, Jundo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you for the great Dharma talk. And my question I had was, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
My question was, it was about JUKAI. I was wondering if the student makes like mistakes, can JUKAI be like taken away from them, or?
What do you mean? Like if you promise not to kill someone and then you kill someone, are we going to take the JUKAI away?
No, there was a I looked on the thing where the student, I guess the student teacher got into it, and then then the student returned his like ragasu and stuff like that. I was wondering if that was ever a thing.
Well, as I've often said, to me the ceremony celebrates living gently on this pivot point. We try to live by the precepts, avoiding to kill. We can never perfectly avoid to kill. Probably right now I'm sitting on the zafu. I'm squeezing the life forms. I'm my biologist. Yes. Something is always living and dying here. We try not to get angry, but sometimes we fall down, and you begin again from there. So the ceremony celebrates trying to live like that right now, and The ceremony itself cannot be taken away. If it's taken away, only you take it away from yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, hang in there. Anything else? Going once? Going twice?
I think we're good. Can
Okay.
you still can you still not see us?
Okay.
Can you not see us?
I don't have them out. I can't change the screen, but it all sounds good. So that was the talk. We're going to close the sutras in a moment. I just want to tell you what comes next. We're going to have a very, very brief where you are Zazen, just to make the point that Zazen is not a matter of long and short. This pivot point is literally timeless. This pivot point includes all time right now. So one moment of Zazen, one moment of sailing includes the whole world, includes the universe. So we're going to set a super brief Zazen to make this point, because it's not long or short. Okay? Anyway. And then we're going to do something completely ridiculous, which is, this is ANGO. So I wanted to look to see if there was an ANGO dance, but I couldn't find an ANGO dance, but I did find a tango. Tango. And then I found a guy who teaches Zen tango, which I posted. And then I found a video. I don't know the teacher. It's not a recommendation of the guy. But then it's a beautiful video. You see with his lessons, like you dance in this step. You dance forgetting the past and the future. Everything I just spoke about, he finds in the tango. It was, he's really got a sense of the tango is moving, dancing, what I spoke about. So anyway, but I don't know who he is, so it's not a recommendation of the guy. And then I listened to the song we're going to be dancing to, which is about a rich man who lost it all and just has to kind of says, if I lost it all, I just sing my song. So it's very much about acceptance of what life brings. So it all ties in here. So in a moment, we're going to be dancing the ANGO tango. But in the meantime, just a moment of sit where you are, Zazen. First, let's close the sutras. Would you do that for me, Tokan?
May the effects of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together may realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha, Prajna, Paramita.
Okay. And now just where you are, we will have a moment of pivot point. Just this leap, just this twirl, just this moment of Zazen. Thank you. All right, now it's the time for the ANGO tango. But give me a second to get up here. It takes a while. We're going to dance. We're going to dance. Everyone's got to dance. And it's people with mobility issues. If you can't like tango with us, you tango with your fingers there. Nobody escapes this. Okay. All right. 1 second. Yeah, we're going to. 1 second. Please.
Si pensara que sé lo que fui, no tendría ni la fuerza de vivir. Pero yo sé que hay que olvidar y olvido sin protestar. En la oscura caravana de dolor de los hombres que perdieron el hogar. Sin blasfemar, sin un rencor, voy solo con mi canción. Nadie pregunta lo que he sido en el pasado, si fui rico, si fui honrado, si hubo sedas en mi cuna. A nadie importa quién soy yo, de dónde vengo, y si alguno se me acerca me pregunta cuánto tengo. Mira los trapos que delatan mi pobreza de hoy, y en esos trapos de la gente cuánto valgo y quién soy. Pero no importa para mí que lo he vivido, yo sé todo lo que he sido, lo que nunca más seré. Es por eso que mi boca no dirá el secreto de un pasado que perdí. Fui gran señor, creo en un Dios que a veces me niega el pan, y en locura caravana de dolor de los hombres que perdieron el hogar. Sin blasfemar, sin un rencor, voy solo con mi canción. Nadie pregunta lo que he sido en el pasado, si fui rico, si fui honrado, si hubo cenas en mi cuna. A nadie importa quién soy yo, de dónde vengo, y si alguno se me acerca me pregunta cuánto tengo. Miran los trapos que delatan mi pobreza de hoy, y en esos trapos lee la gente cuánto valgo y quién soy. Pero no importa para mí que lo he vivido, yo sé todo lo que he sido, lo que nunca más seré.
Magnífico.
Bravo, bravo. Lovely, lovely. Knocked over Buddha's incense while I was somehow doing my twirl. Sorry about that. All right. Zazen. Would you like this to move forward? I mean, put it down.
Yeah. I'm gonna go by the side.
Okay. We will have a long Kinhin. We will now recite the Metta verses, followed by a little Zazen. All right. Is there anyone here who has not chanted the Metta verses before? All right, I'll tell you a little bit about them real quick. This is actually a tradition from South Asian Buddhism, but it's become very much appreciated in many Western Zen groups. It's a beautiful lesson in loving kindness. That's the meaning of metta, in which we chant for ourselves and others, all as one. You know, we're all on the same boat, right? You heard that before. And so we will be chanting the Metta verses, which is in our chant book. If you don't know it, you can just follow along in your heart and listen. It's a recommended practice in our Sangha for every day because it softens the heart. We chant for various sentient beings, beginning with ourselves. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's often been said we must save ourselves. We must be gentle with ourselves before we're prepared to help others too. And we're all faces of each other. So next we chant for someone in our family, someone we love. Then we chant for a friend. Then we chant for a stranger, someone we barely remember. Maybe we passed them on the bus, or just someone who we barely noticed on the street. Then this is the one that takes some explaining, we chant for a difficult person in our life or in the world, with the idea that if they were truly at peace, if they were truly healthy in body and mind, if they were truly content, they would not be doing all the difficult things they do, you see. Most people who do the difficult things are doing it because they are suffering within, they're poisoned within. So we ask for that poison to be removed. Finally, we chant for all sentient beings. And being a Star Trek fan, I always include in all the galaxies, not just on this planet, okay? Even in the Delta sector, or Delta quadrant, I think it is. Okay. All right. We'll begin with ourselves. Now, this is also a visualization. So we're not only chanting the words, you're really meaning this as if you were saying it to your own mother, your own child. You really mean this, okay? Saying it to yourself. May I be free of suffering. And in order to do that, may I feel safe and still Suffering is often the opposite of not feeling safe and still. May I be free of enmity. Enmity means hate, anger at others. May I be loving, grateful, grateful for all of it, and kind. Wait a second. Did I make a mistake? Loving, gentle, and kind. Sorry. All right, we'll be grateful later. It's gentle right now. We're gentle now, grateful later. Loving, gentle, right?
It says grateful.
Oh, grateful. Okay, wait a second. I had a senior moment. I need to wish Metta for a second. All right, loving, grateful, and kind. Senior moment. May I be healthy, but because that won't always be so. May I be at ease in all my ills. May I be at peace, embracing, there's the grateful part, embracing all conditions of life, including my aging head. Okay, now truly for someone you love, your mother, a child, someone in your family. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy, and when not, at ease in all their ills, especially if they're sick right now. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Now, this kind of visualization exercise, remember, as we wish others, we're actually purifying our own heart. When you wish peace on others, that makes you peaceful. When you wish health on your enemies, somehow it settles your own heart. So remember that. This is what goes around comes around, and we are all faces of each other. Even that terrible person we'll be chanting for later, you might say, there, but for the grace of Buddha go I, like that, right? Okay, now for a friend. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay? Now for a passing stranger. I'll do it for the delivery man who came to our door yesterday. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity, what's ever going on in his life. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay. Next one is for the difficult person. I recently had a chat with one of our members from Ukraine and said, boy, I can't chant this for Russians right now. And I said, I understand that, but if you could, you're wishing that the war would end. Because if truly the powers in Russia, the government, the people were not like this, they would not do this. So it's a chant for peace. And it's a chant for healing in the future. And it's a chant to recognize that we're all human beings and some of us get poisoned sometimes. So this is very difficult for many of us to do. But please chant for a difficult person in your life, in the world, that they should not be so. May she be free of suffering. Because if she was, she wouldn't do it this. May she feel safe and still, because she's acting out of fear now. May she be free of enmity. Oh, big time. Let's underline that one. May she be loving. Oh, yeah. Grateful and kind. May she be healthy in body and mind, and at ease in all her ills. May she be at peace, so that we all may know peace, the whole world may know peace. Embracing all conditions of life. Okay? And next, we will chant for all sentient beings, including for Star Trek fans, the sentient beings on Rigel 7. Rigel 7, special call out to them. I often say when they come here, the space aliens, and by the way, we're the aliens to them, of course. It's mutual. But when they come here, we definitely want them peaceful. So it's in our own benefit here. Anyway, all sentient beings, including ourselves, may we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of suffering. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy, or as they call it on Rigel 7, leap blop. I get a little crazy this time of day, sorry. And at ease in all their ills. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, that's one of our recommended practices, to do that every day. It's good for you, especially when that guy cuts you off in traffic, or the guy in the office does that thing that drives you nuts, or, you know, Uncle Harry acts like Uncle Harry with his views, political views, all that stuff. Excellent metta practice, highly recommended, very effective. In any case, right now we're going to sit another short Zazen for a few minutes. You can sit just where you are and relax. And then we will be off to JUKAI and ANGO. We'll have begun. Ready? Let's sit. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows. Give me a moment. It takes a little longer for me to get up every year. Okay. Second. Stretch your legs for a moment. Can you straighten this out for me? Thank you. There you go.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable.
Lovely. Well, to all of you who are setting off on JUKAI and ANGO, I wish you smooth sailing. It is supposed to be an enriching life, beautiful life experience, but it's up to you. If you find that in your heart, then I'm certain it will be. And all of you, very good. Now, the next thing is, I believe Bion and Kote are going to open the sewing thread in just a few minutes. So that's the next thing. Remember, stitch by stitch by stitch. All right, all. See you all later. Bye-bye.